And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Go ahead and say it, Ed. Go Tigers!
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
You like that? You like that?
F it. Jamar's down there somewhere.
The New Orleans Saints select Marcus Davenport.
No!
Splash Brothers. Yeah.
It's playoff. Keep going, Brace.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
What is up, y'all? Welcome to the Dirty Boot Sports Podcast Home Team, Episode 5. So this week we got a little good, a little bad, and yeah, there you go. But a little bit good, a little bit of bad. I think that's probably what we can expect when Saints aren't a real good ball team, and LSU's not bad, but definitely not great. So Saints got their win, 39-32 over the Seahawks this weekend. LSU fell pretty big at home to Tennessee, a good Tennessee team. I think we were kind of exposed a little bit during the game. Definitely some things we could have done better. Peyton, you want to start us off with LSU?
Well, I want to have one weekend where I can have 2 wins. That would be nice. Like, I mean, do I have to sacrifice one to get the other? Is that how it's going to work all year? Like, can I just have one weekend where I have both wins? I'd be quite happy with that.
I know.
Oh, man, look, I didn't pick us win this game Saturday. None of us picked us to win that game Saturday. If you did,
right,
you're lying to yourself. I mean, like, and if you did, you're probably a gambler and you want those that plus, 3 number there. Kyle, we're in week 6, and I know we don't have the team yet to compete for what we want to compete for, but it just concerns the crap out of me that we're still having coaching issues. I thought we were past the Les Miles days. I thought we were past the Coach O days. Like, it had some very creepy feelings of some of those days watching that game. Let's go from the opening, not even the opening kickoff yet. Like I fussed about last night on our main pod. Let's go to the freaking coin toss. You win the coin toss, Kyle. Our best unit on our team is the defense. So why in the heck would you win the coin toss and not defer to the second half? Why would you want the ball? Like, I mean, put your best unit out there first. You're at home. Your crowd is ready to go. Like, the defense is going to be, they're ready to go. Like, let's feed off that. And you know what? So what if they go down there and score something? They score 7 points on you. You're not going to beat them if they just. I mean, you got to beat them anyway. More than 7 points. So who cares? Like, give the ball to the defense and see what can happen. Because you know what? You stop that offense on the first drive. You think that crowd's loud at the beginning? You stop them out on a first drive. They're going to go crazy, man.
That's a good point.
It was just a bad decision in my opinion to take that toss. I mean, of course, I've always been deferred to the second half, and to be honest with you, that come back and bit us in the butt later in the game. And then we'll go to the opening kickoff. I'm sitting there, I'm watching it on my back porch, and like the game just started. We're about to kick off. The announcers are talking about it. And they showed on the sidelines, and you see Polian and Brian Kelly. Polian's a special teams coach, if anybody doesn't know. You see him like hollering and freaking out, telling Jack Besh and Clayton to switch spots. And then to put Jack Besh, you could see him. He was pointing, go to the 5-yard line, go to the 5-yard line. Obviously, they saw something that they felt like they were just going to hit a little pop-up kick. Okay, Kyle. Let's don't overthink this. You have 2 kids back there that you apparently trust that can catch a football. Just tell Clayton to scoot up, catch that ball, and fair catch it. Like, Jack Best, you had him running all the way on the other side of the field. He gets set, boom, they kick it, and then he's running up to catch the ball. Yes, he should catch it. Yes, he's a top receiver in the conference. He should catch the ball. I get that. But why make him run across the field, not get set hardly? Just if you don't trust Clayton, why is he out there? Like, what I mean, like, we're overthinking this thing.
Right.
Like, let's don't. It's not rocket science here. It's special teams. Like, that drove me nuts. It really did. And so you give the defense right there, short field, they score 7 on you. Oh, well. Okay. And then you go out and you lay an egg on offense. Freaking punter just boots you on 58 yards. He, quote unquote, my favorite saying when it comes to a male and a female, he outpunts his coverage. Well, he did. He outpunted his coverage on that. But my gosh, we can't make a tackle. Like, why is my punter having to make a saving tackle for another touchdown on special teams? Like, it's
never good when your punter makes a tackle.
Never good. Like, we're making this a lot harder than it has to be on special teams. It's not that hard. You got some of the best athletes in the country. Put them out there. Like, what are we doing here, man? And you go down 10-0. Okay. I'm not mad. We're still not out of it, which I did say, though, if you jumped out to double deficit, coming out early.
Double-digit deficit.
Yeah, double-digit deficit. You're going to get killed because Tennessee's not going to put that foot off that pedal. They're going to keep pushing it down. And they did. I mean, that's what we've been lucky these last few weeks and gotten away with that, but you're not against a Tennessee team right now. So you get down 10-0.
And, that's part of the reason why I was thinking that maybe, taking the ball first was a good thing, but it backfired in the worst possible way.
Yes. Worst possible way. Like, you couldn't have scripted. I mean, I'm sitting there. You could literally hear the pin drop from the stadium. That stadium went dead silence, like as awkward as can get. I mean, and I know what happened. They all just sat on their hands, and just sat there. They were like, oh, my God, what's going on? Oh, we've seen this movie before. We've had 2 clowns as our coaches before, and we've been in scenarios like this. I mean, it's like they felt it, man. And it's just, but hey, you're down 10-0. Okay, I'm not mad. But then you freaking don't kick the little chip shot field goal to get them down 10-3. I don't get that at all. I just don't.
Get the points.
Yes, I get the point, and let's go down one possession and see what happens from there. I almost wonder if at that point that Brian Kelly's like, the special teams have screwed me all year. Do I want to trust them? Like I don't know. But even okay, we get by that. We still had chances and just didn't make plays. I mean, the offense, it doesn't feel explosive or scary, which makes no sense when you have that receiving core you have. Look, I'm not blaming Jalen Daniels. Jalen Daniels didn't lose that ball game. But Jalen Daniels still struggles. I mean,
he won't take a shot.
Yeah, he won't take a shot. I mean, you saw the video. The camera caught Brian Kelly when he said, "What are you effing doing?" He's 1-on-1, throw it. I mean, he was 1-on-1 on a slant. It was Butte 1-on-1 on a slant. Give him a chance. I mean, that's what you want. That's what you got those guys out there for. Yeah. Like, I mean, you got to take chances. Look, he's not going to, in a week's time, change his style of play. I mean, I know he's working on it, he's trying, but it's just frustrating. You see him make that throw to Neighbors down the right side in the second quarter. Freaking best throw he's made all year. He takes 3 steps back and just slings it to Neighbors. You're like, oh, wow, that's impressive. And then I didn't hardly see one the rest of the game. Like, it's just frustrating. Yeah. Because I'm going to be honest with you, and people, Tennessee's a good team. I don't think they're a great team. This NFL draft coming up, we will put more in the draft than Tennessee will. I guarantee you we will. We have more talent on that roster than they do, even with us rebuilding still. Tennessee's just well coached, well schemed on offense. Because they don't have
their offense is behind.
Yeah, they don't have the playmakers we have. They have a quarterback that's better than ours, but even he's not. I'm not overly, thinking he's just great. He actually does what Daniels does that drives me nuts. He locks on one receiver, but they actually have some play design that's probably a little better than ours that gets that one receiver that he locks onto open. Because I noticed that a lot. He does lock on his receivers a lot. He doesn't go through his progressions as well as you would want. But man, you keep shooting yourselves in the foot though, man. It's just so frustrating. Like I just don't understand. And look, man, I know Mason Taylor's a good player. Heck, probably a good kid. He's a freshman tight end. Like, I know Kelly's all big on his tight ends, but dude, you're in the SEC now. You got freaks at receivers. Like, why are we sitting here trying to force feed a tight end? A buddy of mine, TJ, actually texted me this. He said, you got to mention this in your pod. And I said, well, I'm actually going to go off a little bit on the Mason Taylor deal because I'm just getting tired of throwing it to him 10 times a game. He said, I don't get why we run trip set and the tight end is in the middle of the trips. He said, we got dudes like Neighbors, Betts, Butte, Lacey, all of them. He said, why is there not in the middle? Like, why are we trying to put scheme around a tight end? And I agree with that. Like, I don't understand. I know that was basically BK's best weapons at Notre Dame because he couldn't get those elite receivers that we can get. So he had to. Man, Mason Taylor's good for you 3 or 4 catches a game. I'm good with that. But quit force feeding him. And it's force feeding him early in the game. Like, I think that's, why's force feed Butte and Brian Thomas and Neighbors early in the game? Like, why are we force feeding him those, man? It just, nothing really has much rhyme or reason to anything. And another rant I want to go on. I don't give a crap if Harold Perkins is a Sam linebacker, a defensive tackle, a safety. Hell, I don't care if he's the long snapper. He's one of the best athletes on your dang team. You find a way that kid is in the ball game. You don't sit there and tell me, well, it wasn't a good matchup because we moved him to Sam linebacker now, and we and that offense we're facing, he'd have been out more on the numbers and. No, but you're still playing 2 inside linebackers. I like Greg Penn. Good, solid player. He's not Harold Perkins. You put Harold Perkins on that field. He's the reason why you freaking won the game last weekend because he made a heck of an interception for you in Auburn. Like, yeah. That is he played 9 plays, Kyle. 9 plays against one of the best offenses you're going to face this year. How about let's have one of our best defensive players out there on the field? You figure out, well, you're sitting there telling me that whole week, that coaching staff, the whole game plan, the whole week, they're sitting there thinking, yeah, I think this defense is going to work, even though we don't have our best defensive player on the field. But yeah, I think this will go. No, what? Like, what are we doing? I like Matt House. He's had a good year for us. But come on, man, quit outthinking the room here. Like, put the kid in. Like, there's no sense in that at all, man. It drives me nuts.
Do you think that they're just a little insecure about the talent of the roster being as they've had so much turnover? But, it's like they forget, hey, this is still LSU. We still got some athletes. Let's, quit trying to be so cute and just line up and play.
Yeah. No, Brian, it's a learning curve for Brian Kelly and that coaching staff. A lot of them have never been in the SEC.
Yeah, for sure.
They're figuring out. Going to figure out the hard way fast if they don't start putting your best players out on the field, though. Harold Perkins is.
Sure.
B.J. Ojolari. I mean, those are freaks that Kelly never had at Notre Dame. He's not. I mean, he it's different for him for sure. But I don't think it's that hard, Kyle. I mean, them guys will forget more football than I'll ever know. But I mean, I just know talent wise, he's the top 5 on your team right now, and he can't make the field for you against one of the better offenses. And that same offense is just torching you in the first half. It might be time to let's go ahead and just put him in anyway. Let's try. It can't be worse. So, I mean, Granted, all that to say, Dre Jenkins doesn't drop that ball. I mean, it was tipped, hit him in the hand still. He doesn't drop that ball. It's 20-14 and a half. And who knows what can happen. But, woulda, if, shoulda. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm worried. I mean, Polian, man, I don't think he's going to make it another year. Don't think he'll be fired during the season. Matter of fact, I think it'll wait a little after the season. I think it'll be after the 1st of December, after that first signing class, because he is the recruiting coordinator. And it might not even be a firing. It might be hey, you're going to be the recruiting coordinator. We're going to bring in the special teams coach in. I don't know. I know BK and Poland are boys, so he might, treat them like that or what. But man, something's got to change though on that special teams because it's not that hard. It really isn't. You have too many athletes on that team not to find some guys to play special teams for you.
I agree.
And one more thing that I had noted in my head. I know they're not our true. Me and Chance talked about this last night. They're not our true LSU DBs that we're used to, and that we'll have back pretty soon. Man, we brought a lot of these guys in that were transfers that were from Louisiana that honestly weren't recruited by LSU. That's why they went other places. I don't get why they won't turn their heads. I haven't seen a cornerback turn their head all year on a receiver. All year. I don't get it. Chance actually made a joke last night. He said, I don't even know what Converse face looks like. I've seen the back of his helmet all year. I mean, it's true. Him and Colby Richardson both. I don't get why they won't turn their heads. That drives me nuts. It's just.
Got to see the ball if you're going to make a play on it.
You got to. Absolutely. But, I mean, hey, look. We're 40.
Easy flag, too.
Oh, it's an easy flag. We've really gotten lucky. Hadn't gotten a lot called on us. And I felt like we should have on a few plays that we got. I guess they just, I don't know. But we're 4-2. We're set there and we were thinking 7-8 wins before the season. I mean, you go 2-3 in next 5 SEC games to beat UAB. You're right where we thought we were going to be anyway. So, I mean, not punting on the season. I want to keep building this year. I want to keep trying to build for the future. But something, and hey, it didn't help either that the 12 hours before kick, actually less than 12 hours before kick, pretty much you find out that your left tackle's out for the game. And Will Campbell gets, rushed to the hospital. And then you lose your left guard in Dellinger. And I say, well, you got backups back there, but I'm going to be honest with you, you probably really got third strings in that position because you don't have your offensive line depth built up yet like you need to be. So you're playing guys that are out of position, right. Third string type linemen in those spots. So, I mean, that's tough. I mean, and we couldn't move the ball running. Granted, we couldn't really get a running game going because we were just out the gate, we were down. So, I mean, we felt like we had to air it out to get the call back up. And poor Daniels, he just, I don't know. I mean, that like we talked about a while ago, that BK one-on-one, when he fussed at him about it, instead of making that throw, he rolls out and he gets just 4 yards. Like that, who knows what a one-on-one slant can make. It can turn into a 50-yard touchdown. You don't know. I mean, it just, I don't know. But, I mean, Jalen wasn't the reason you lost that game. No. But, I don't know. We'll see what Florida looks like this week. See how he progresses. But eventually, you're going to have to just see what Nuss has got. And I'm not saying Nuss is the future. From what I listened to, shout out to Jordan Collada this morning, say he said from what all he is hearing from the insides of that program since week 2, Walker Howard is the best quarterback in that room. But they don't want to rush him. They want to groom him. They want to get him ready. But they said that he is the best quarterback in that room since week 2. He's really growing and progressive, but you just don't want to, and I don't want to either. I don't want to play him in spots that he doesn't need to be playing in this year. Let's let him get ready, So
yeah, I agree.
But
that's definitely a bright spot for the future, for sure, to kind of hang on to. But and we knew that this was going to be an L. It's just frustrating when you do it through shooting yourself in the foot rather than just being, outplayed. It's making mistakes and maybe some mental errors, maybe some coaching that's questionable. That's always tough. We knew that Tennessee's offense was going to be a problem. We knew our offense was a little anemic. So, but you still just want to have a chance to at least win the game and be in the game. And from the opening kickoff, I don't think we were ever really in it.
No, we weren't. And like I said, they're not that much better than us talent-wise. But I don't mind losing that game, even if it was, say, 31-17 or something like that. But it's just how we lost it. And the coaching problems is just what really frustrates me. He's starting. I mean, I listened to O for the last 3 years sit there and tell me, we got to do better coaching. I got to do better as a head coach, yada yada yada. And Brian Kelly for the last 2 or 3 weeks has been telling us, we got to be better coaching. I got to do better. Like, quit saying it and do it. Quit having to go to the podium and say that crap, So I don't know. Like I said, 4-2. You still, you got a game at Florida this week. That's a winnable ball game. They're nothing. They don't scare you. It's gonna be a tough game. It's a rival game, but I feel like you can go in there and you could, win that ball game and beat Ole Miss the next week, and you'll forget about this Tennessee game. Just like we done forgot about that Florida State game after we beat Mississippi State and beat Auburn, get a couple more wins in your belt and let's move on. But it's frustrating, very, very frustrating. But hopefully we're going to keep learning to make some adjustments and get better for sure, because this year's obviously not our year, but we need to figure out who's ready and who's going to be our guys for next year for sure.
Yeah, well, that's all we can do. I think this is a rebuilding year, obviously the way that, Kelly had to start. But and that's kind of the same story with the Saints. Here we are, week 5, and we scratched and clawed our way to 2-3. 39-32 win over the Seahawks. Wasn't the prettiest game, but it was kind of a fun one to watch. And that we actually got a decent amount of scoring this year. Definitely some question marks for the game on defense, especially. Last week we gave up 28 points and gave up 32 to the Seahawks, who, now granted, I got to stop and give Geno Smith his due, and I've said this the last couple of weeks. He's a pretty good ball player. Definitely a starter in this league. Takes care of the ball, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, which is something that kind of surprised me. But of course, I don't guess he really had a whole lot to play with during his time in the Jets.
Yeah,
poor guy. But he definitely looks like a starter in this league, and kudos to him. But I definitely want to say that this has definitely been the Taysom show for sure.
Clay's boy.
Taysom tore it up. Yeah, it's Clay's boy. He's now converted.
That's right.
To a Taysom fandom, possibly the Mormon religion as well.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
think
Brother Randy.
I think he's going to that religion now. I believe it. Absolutely.
He might. But the only reason he was rooting for him is not because he's a Saints fan. He should root for him, but because he had to start him on his fantasy team.
Yeah, and he act like that was
So,
a bad thing. How bad would he have been? How bad would he have been if Kyle Pitts had been healthy and he'd had Taysom on the bench?
Yeah,
We would have heard
four
about that
total
for an hour
touchdowns.
last night.
Yeah. So 4 total touchdowns, 3 rushing, 1 passing, 112 rushing yards on 9 carries. He had 1 long for 60 yards, which is a beast of a run. He had 3 kick returns for 69 yards, a fumble recovery, and he did some great blocking too, man. That didn't really show up in your stat box, but he sprung AK on one with a great block. So AK had a heck of a game as well. 103 yards rushing on 23 carries. He had 91 yards receiving on 6 receptions for a total of 194 yards from scrimmage. Not a bad showing. We needed AK to show up and show out. We needed to get Taysom involved. I didn't realize he was going to do that much. But, I mean, and when you've got your star receivers out and that you got Michael Thomas out, you got Juice out, and then you had Olave go down when he caught the touchdown pass from Taysom. You just have to generate offense in any way that you can. And I think that the Saints did a good job of that. I don't know that we can necessarily replicate that against other teams. I don't know what the Seahawks rush defense was coming into the game, but it definitely didn't look very good. There was times where Taysom would line up in the backfield, and you knew exactly what he was doing. And they wouldn't stop him. They couldn't stop him.
They had stopped him all year.
I don't expect that to always work. That's true. When we actually do it, they haven't been able to stop him. I should have grabbed a lot of stats for this game, but I should have grabbed his yards per carry for the season. For today's game, yesterday's game, he averaged, 12.4 yards per rush. Not bad.
No. And everybody in the stadium knows he's going to run the ball. And he still gets the yards. Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep going. I mean,
you can't stop him.
No.
Line up. That's what the Falcons did to us week 1, man. They just lined up and kept hitting us in the mouth. We couldn't stop Patterson, and they just kept running it. And, right now when we don't really have an offensive identity, give it to your hitters, man. Let those guys tote the rock and let them make some plays. Now, I will say AK did have a pretty bad fumble that cost us big. Seattle flipped it for some points. Actually, I think they flipped it for a touchdown.
Man. That's so unusual for AK to keep fumbling the ball like this.
Yeah, it is different, and I don't know if it's just he hasn't quite fallen into a groove yet this year. But hopefully this was the game that he needed. He toted the rock a lot. He had 23 carries, which, 23 carries and then 6 receptions. That's a lot of use. A lot of
productivity.
You're talking about approaching 30 touches. And, honestly, I mean, maybe 20 to 30 touches is okay, I guess. Definitely don't want to get him hurt. Speaking of hurt, Olave, man, when he caught that ball and went down in the end zone, as soon as he did it, I was like, oh God, he's out. I mean, he got KO as soon as he hit the turf. And Peyton, I don't know what it is, but it seems like we've had a rash of these knockouts this year.
Yeah, this is just me, and I can't really say this with having backing behind it because I'm trying to remember all the ones that we've seen this year. I feel like, and it's not just with concussions, it's just injuries overall, Kyle. These more of these fields go to turf, the more you're going to see injuries.
I agree. Oh yeah, no doubt.
And especially these concussions, man, when they're coming down on the ground like this, I mean, the turf don't give, brother. I mean, and I'm telling you, it feels like every injury that you see or hear, it's usually on a turf field. And I just, man, I hate. I mean, you know, Lobby comes down like that. I mean, if he's on a real, I mean, obviously he's in a dome, can't have it. But I feel like this turf field is not real good for the future of the game, in my opinion.
No, it's just, I mean, it's a money thing. It's a return on investment. I mean, it's expensive to lay down, but over time it pays for itself, you know?
Oh, absolutely does. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not stupid.
But hey, if golf hasn't gone to turf, I mean, you know, they can play on grass. Why can't the NFL, you know?
Right. We're talking 100 yards here. I mean, like, we're a $1 billion company. I think we can afford a couple lawn guys out there to keep the grass going. I hate to see it, man. I really do. I mean, even Phoenix, I mean, crap, they're in a dome, but they bring real grass in it. I mean, so it proves that there's ways around it. But I think I'm telling you, man, I think you're gonna keep seeing more and more of these type weird injuries too from these turf fields.
So, Andy Dalton, not a crazy game out of him for sure. Not a great game. 16 for 24, 187, one touchdown, one pick. He was sacked once for a 6-yard loss. He didn't play bad, and the interception he was throwing at Traquan. By the way, there was a ton of drops and a couple by Traquan in the little time.
Imagine that.
But that interception he threw, he was throwing to Traquan on a one-on-one, and he just didn't fight for the ball at all. I mean, it was thrown a little inside, but I think even if he would have thrown it where Traquan was supposed to be, it would have definitely gotten batted. I don't know if it would have been picked, but he's got no fight to him. I don't know. He doesn't complete plays. And I don't know if he just knows that he's just been bad lately and that people want him gone, but you would think in the times where he's had the opportunities to step up and show that he belongs, he would take advantage of that, and he just hasn't. I mean, nobody's had more opportunity as a backup than him.
No.
Of late, you know, the last few years. I mean, because we've been plagued by injury at that position. He stayed healthy, and he can't do anything. No. I mean, the poor guy hasn't done anything since he caught Drew Brees' record pass 4 years ago.
No, that's right. He's a heck of a blocker, though, Kyle. He's a real good blocker.
Well, Taysom can block too, so. Ingram looked bad, man. It could have been just the blocking on his plays, but
I think
he averaged 1.8 a carry. Meanwhile, a better version of him we put back on our practice squad after he led the team in rushing, and he got picked up by Denver. So,
and then
that is what it is.
And then our other backup behind him, who me and Chance have been screaming for all year, we let him go, and he gets picked up by Seattle today, and Tony Jones Jr.
Yep, that's rough, man. Never good when your corners leads in tackles. Adebo had 8 total tackles. Pete Werner was right behind him. This is the first time in 5 games that Werner hasn't led in tackles. He had 7, which that's a little down for him. Tyron was behind him with 5. Saw a good game out of Cam Jordan finally. Kind of, got after the quarterback a little bit. Had 2 quarterback hits. He had 1.5 sacks, which they gave half of that sack to Demario Davis, but homeboy was going down whether Demario piled on or not. I would probably give Cam 2 sacks for that game. Still no interceptions, man. Not picking the ball off. We actually lost in the turnover battle. Still managed to get the W, but it's Peyton, it's always hard to get a win when you lose a turnover battle.
That's why we were 1-3 going into this game.
That's right, because we're one of the worst in the league. And, that's not a winning combo. So, my question, and this is going to be a hot topic, but moving forward, let's say that Jameis is healthy. what do we do, Peyton? You tell me what you would want the Saints to do moving forward, and I'll give you my take on it.
Okay, so Dalton obviously hasn't been blowing up the stat sheet in the last 2 weeks. Really, his numbers probably are, I would say, probably less than Jameis for sure in yards. I feel like, and I know this is stupid to say, but when I'm sitting there watching the game like this weekend, and even the Minnesota game last week, when I can hear Dalton with a mic, not far from him, changing plays, calling out blitzes, things like that, that just makes me feel better about things when the offense is on the field. Because I never see Jameis do that much, I feel like. I don't ever see him calling, reading things. Obviously, he takes a lot of blitzes that he just don't see. And you've talked about that, where he, should see things that he doesn't. Dalton feels like kind of the last couple of years of Drew. Like, we know the ball ain't going to probably go more than 25, 30 yards down the field. But you know what? It's productive. The ball's still moving down the field. In my opinion, I would go Dalton for the next few weeks and just see what happens. I don't know that he just. It seems so much smoother out there, and he looks so much calmer in the pocket. It doesn't look like Jameis does, like he's walking on gravel barefooted. I feel better with Dalton back there than I do Winston right now. And I hate it because I know Winston has more talent. He has a stronger arm.
So let me give you some numbers. I think this is what stands out to me. I'm a stats guy, and we'll go over all the numbers for him. But so to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, the offense looks like it just runs more efficiently and effectively with Dalton out there. So Jameis is 2-1 on the season. His win versus Atlanta was an epic comeback win. He had to score 27. Yeah, what did I say? 1-3?
You said 2-1.
He's 1-2.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, flip that. His only win, or the Saints' only win with him under center is going to be Atlanta. We scored 27 points. 17 of those were in the fourth. It took an epic comeback to do it. Terrible in the first three quarters. The loss to Tampa Bay. We lost 20-10. We scored 3 points in the first quarter, nothing until the fourth quarter. We got a touchdown. Carolina, we lost 22-14. We had no points until the fourth quarter. So, yes, Jameis does have 858 passing yards, but a lot of that is in poo-poo time. We watched Atlanta take the gas off, stop with the blitz, and start playing prevent defense. And Jameis, to his credit, did a good job of eating them up. But outside of that performance, in the last quarter of that game, he has not played well. Dalton, on the other hand, he lost to the Vikings by 3. His first game as a starter. We had no points in the first quarter, 7 in the second, 7 in the third, 11 in the fourth. His win against Seattle yesterday, we had 3 points in the first, 14 in the second, 14 in the third, and 8 in the fourth. So at no point is he, getting poo-poo yards where we're down by a bunch. The offense is just kind of rolling, at a decent pace at least throughout the game. Some numbers for Jameis: 3 games played, 1-2 on the year, 73 completions, 115 attempts for 63.5 completion percentage, which I'm totally good with. Those are good numbers. He's averaging 286 yards a game, which that's a good number too. I feel like that's a good spot where you can win some ball games. But he's got 4 touchdowns, 5 picks, and 11 sacks. Some of that falls on the O-line for sure, but there was times, especially in the first game, where he was doing a lot of holding the ball. Quarterback rating is 79.5. So here's another big thing, Peyton. He had 3 games with Michael Thomas, 3 games with Juice, and 2 games with AK. All right. On the flip side of that, just remember that when I get to the end of this, Dalton played 2 games. He's 1-1. He's 36 for 52, 69.2% completion percentage, solid. 423 passing yards for 211.5 yards per game. He's had 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 3 sacks. For a quarterback rating of 98.5, not bad. He's had no Michael Thomas. He's had 1 game with Juice and 1 game with AK. So,
a game and a half.
I think, yeah, and half a game with Olave too, and I think we take a step back if we immediately go back to Jameis. Yeah, we pulled him because he was hurt, but he wasn't playing well. If Dalton takes a step back at all, if he starts throwing interceptions, put Jameis back, let Jameis see what he can do. But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. The offense definitely looks smoother under Dalton. And it could be that the offense is just getting better in general. But I mean, he's played 2 games without Michael Thomas.
I would love to see him with Thomas. I see him and Thomas connecting well. Like they remind. Dalton's not Drew Brees, but I can see him and how Drew and Thomas just always had that connection. Dalton seems like him and Thomas would have that connection. Thomas runs the routes that Dalton likes to throw, in my opinion.
Yeah. Underneath, slants.
Yes.
Crosses.
Well, and the thing about Dalton, just from the eye, he seems to hit his receivers more in stride and on timing better than Wentz does. And that could be
it's just a more polished game.
Yeah, it is. And that could be too just Dalton's experience over the years. And I mean, Dalton's had to go, he's played he's been a backup the last 3-4 years, but he's still playing a lot. And Winston really hasn't. And that could have something to do with it. But it's just he looks more polished out there than Winston does.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that had something to do with Winston Jameis just constantly trying to go to Olave on the deep ball, trying to force that deep ball. He doesn't have bad numbers other than the touchdown to interception ratio. But when you watch him play, though, so many of those yards are in like us just trying to catch up,
Yes.
And it's not because our defense is playing bad. It's because we didn't do anything for 2 or 3 quarters.
Yes, that's correct. And caught the ball up.
There's a difference. Yeah, there's a difference between, how you play against a soft defense that's just trying to, to win the game through just, prevent and just not give up any big plays and, lining up and running the offense and consistently moving the ball down the field. Now, granted, Dalton's not doing anything to win the game yesterday. That was Taysom and AK's game, as far as I'm concerned. He didn't do anything to lose it against the Vikings either. We got killed in the turnover battle against the Vikings. Put the ball on the ground some. Did Dalton no, he didn't have a pick against the Vikings.
No, he just had Sunday.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. But I'll tell you this, Peyton. I've never been impressed with Jameis at any point in his career. I'm pulling for him because he's a Saint and we need him to play to his potential. But when he was with Tampa, there was no fear.
Yeah, there was no fear.
Even when he was throwing for 5,000 yards, there was no fear. Because you knew he was going to, get some big plays, but you also knew he was going to throw it away. When he came to New Orleans, the question was, this is an ideal situation for him. Let's let him learn under Breeze, learn under Peyton, figure it out, clean up those interceptions. And, it's small sample size, 3 games, but and he's been injured. Let's give him that. He's injured. But his play's gotta improve for him to be the guy in New Orleans.
Yeah, and I mean, I say it's 3 games. You did have the ones last year too.
Yeah,
and that was with.
But he was anemic in. Yeah, he was scared to throw the ball down the field. It was just dink and dunk, and that drove me crazy. I was like, and he wouldn't throw to Michael Thomas last year either.
No,
wait,
he didn't have him.
Yeah, or when he does play with him. He didn't have him, but when he has, that's my bad. Yeah. When he has, he just doesn't seem to have the chemistry with Michael Thomas. I don't know what that's about. I don't know why we're force-feeding Olave. If you're not going to feed Michael Thomas, feed Juice. Juice is a guy that's going to take up a lot of targets and a lot of receptions.
Kyle, we hadn't gone to Juice since the Atlanta game.
Yeah.
I mean, we really haven't. It's like we just forgot about him.
Yeah. So, I don't know, and maybe I'm too hard on Jameis. I don't know what to like. It feels like he's more of a boomer bust than Dalton. Dalton, you just kind of know what you have. Ain't not going to win you anything. Might lose you a game or two. And he might not. Jameis could win you some games, but then, his play's just been inconsistent. So I don't want to hammer him too much, man. I just don't know what the move is. I'll be interested to see what they do, though. Either way, we'll get behind them and pray that they figure it out. I don't know what's going on with the defense lately, though, Peyton. Like, defense is kind of. I guess injuries.
Injuries. That secondary is depleted right now. I mean, that's like, and I didn't get a chance to send back in the group message, at one point Clay goes, why is JT Green playing DB? And I'm like, who else are you going to play? I mean, we're down to, that's who we're getting down to. This deep secondary that we thought we was going to have preseason is not there anymore. You trade away CD Deuce. You lose Marcus May to an injury. You lose the rookie Taylor to an injury. I mean, Lattimore goes down like you're dropping like flies out there. I mean, you don't have much option. But P.J. Williams is on the IR. I mean, it's just like it's a lot. I feel like we had so many injuries this year. So that hurts. The defensive line just still hasn't really stepped up. I don't know what happened to Danny Animata. Like that dude's been a good player for us for the last couple of years, and usually makes plays at that defensive tackle spot. And man, he's just like a shell of himself. I don't know if he's banged up and they just not saying what injuries got or what. But I mean, I'm glad Cam stepped up this week. But I mean, he was up against a rookie right tackle over there. I mean, I would hope he could make some plays for us.
Yeah. The tackles, the defensive tackles seem like they show up one week and then not the next. I mean, they weren't there against Atlanta. They were getting killed. And then they turn around the next game, had a good game. So, I don't know what that's about, but even still in the NFL, now granted it was Seattle, but 32 points isn't a lot for an NFL team to put together and score. So we are kind of being a little spoiled here. But
it is Geno at the end.
It's tough though. Yeah. Well, yeah, and Geno played well. I've actually got his numbers here. I would love to have Geno in New Orleans right now, apparently. I mean, he's playing that well. He actually is the most efficient passer, or he was going into this week in the NFL. Believe it or not, but he was okay. So this game's all right. 16 for 25, 268, 3 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, that's a rating of 139, homie. That's not bad.
That's not
but
bad.
But they killed us rushing the ball.
Yeah, they did.
They had 151 rushing yards.
We've been getting run on pretty regular this year.
Yeah, it's got a lot to do with the tackle play.
It does. That's what I'm saying. He usually played very well in that spot for us. Now we got Roach back this week. Thought that was going to help some, but I don't know. That D line has been getting abused a lot this year. It's very disappointing.
Yeah, and they're not a young group anymore.
No,
you know?
No. A lot of veterans on that defensive line. I mean,
that's right.
It's shocking that, I mean, you have that same defensive tackle group that you've had for the last couple of years, pretty much. So I don't. It doesn't make sense.
We let our star 4th round draft pick go because we couldn't afford him.
That's right.
So Clay and them get tired of me saying that, but it's true. I get frustrated with it all the time. And I'll end on this. And Taysom, I think on the main pod they said, "Oh my God, I can't believe we paid him $10 million." How many of those tight ends? He's the number 11th paid tight end in the league. How many of those tight ends this year ahead of him are going to have 4 touchdowns? He had 4 touchdowns in one game.
There's not going to have one. Travis Kelce won't even have that.
Well, I'm just saying for the year. How many of them are going to have more than 4 touchdowns? Some of them are, but a lot of them won't.
Oh, for the year. Oh, I thought you meant in one game.
No. I meant for the year.
Oh, okay.
And, he gave us 4 in one game, and a lot of that is just that he does. You know, he didn't catch any of those. Those were running mostly. But
I'll say that Travis Kelce has 4 today. He's got 4 right now, but he is the best in the league.
Yeah, but I think Taysom is at $10 million. That's not a bad price to pay for him if you utilize him. And thank God we finally are. Does Kelce have 4 in this game right now?
Yes, he has 25 yards for 4 touchdowns on 7 receptions.
Holy cow! That's the definition of a red zone target.
That's right. That's exactly right. But you go back to your question. Yes, I mean, I've been screaming to use him more all year. Like, what do we have to lose? He gets positive yards for us every time he touches the ball. I wish we'd throw it to him a little more. Like, things happen when he has the ball in his hand. Who cares if he's with a quarterback or whatever? And that's what it is. If he never played the quarterback position and doing what he's doing right now, everybody would love him. It's just that everybody feels like they're force feeding him because he didn't make it as a quarterback, so they're going to, try to do this because you paid him all. You know what? I mean, name another guy that's going to go out there and do special team stuff that he's doing. Adam Trautman ain't playing special teams like he's playing. So I just let the guy play, man. Just give him the ball. See what happens. He's better than most of our weapons. I mean, he's not better than Michael Thomas, but you know what? He's freaking there every week on the field for us. Michael Thomas is not. I mean, feed him the ball, man.
He is the most versatile weapon in the NFL.
Oh, absolutely. You play him anywhere.
And we're paying him like not even top 10 tight end money. I'm good with that, Peyton.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Put Taysom Hill with San Francisco 49ers and let him have him as a gadget player. I mean, you think Debo's a gadget player, and he's a phenomenal one. But, I mean, he would use Taysom just like that, but more. Like, heck, use him at the running back position.
Taysom would be nasty in San Francisco.
Absolutely, he would be.
He's only caught one ball this year.
I bet we've thrown it to him, but maybe 3 or 4 times, if that.
But going into this week's game, he's our leader in rushing yards.
And our leader in touchdowns, probably.
Yeah, he's got 5.
I don't know who would have more.
Yeah, nobody.
Not even our quarterback.
Yeah, definitely worth his pay. But that's true.
Winston don't have 5. Dalton don't have 5.
Yeah, Dalton has 2, and
Winston has 4, doesn't he?
Jameis has 4.
Yeah.
I guess does Jameis have a rushing touchdown? He could. Jameis might have 5.
He might have 5. Okay, so he tied him.
Yeah. But anyways, man, that's a wrap up. You know, we got Cincinnati this week. Are you going to that one?
I'm going to that one. I'm pumped. I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready for it.
Well, bring us some luck. I love Joey B, but I do not want to see him win in the Dome.
Freak no, me either.
If our defense shows up, we got a shot, but they're going to have to show up and play.
Yeah, it really hurt that Cincinnati lost last night. I was really hoping they would win because now they're in that feel like they're a must win because they're in the AFC, man. You can't fall behind in the AFC like you can in the NFC.
No, definitely not. Going to be a tough one, but it's going to be interesting. A lot of eyes are going to be on that game.
It's going to be a very
LSU fans.
It's going to be a very peculiar feeling of the Dome. I'm afraid. I think it's going to be a 50-50 crowd. I'm afraid I just got a feeling it's going to be a lot of Joey B fans there. So it'll be very interesting how the atmosphere is now.
I've heard that there's LSU fans who aren't Saints fans, but that just seems blasphemous to me.
There is. Believe it or not, there is. That means the same to me. I just don't understand that. I feel like they go together, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they're an hour away from each other. I couldn't do that, but it'll be fun, man. I'm jealous. You're going to be down there and enjoying that game. Are you going to where's LSU at?
No, they're at Fort.
Are they at home? No, they're at Fort.
Yeah, so it's me and 3 other buddies. We're going down. We're leaving out early Saturday morning. Going to go down to New Orleans, play TPC of Louisiana, where the PGA Tour plays their pro tournament down there in New Orleans. We're going to go play it, and then we're going to go from there to find somewhere with a lot of TV screens Saturday night and watch the LSU game Saturday night, and then get up and hit the Saints game Sunday morning, man. So it's going to be a fun weekend. We're looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, man. Have fun. Be safe, though,
No doubt.
It's a little wild down there at times. But,
Yep.
But have fun, dude. Enjoy it, and be sure to send us some pictures. We'll post them on the Instagram page.
Ain't no doubt. I will. I'll definitely do that.
All right, brother. That'll wrap it up, guys. We appreciate y'all tuning in. I hated that we seem to be a little bit negative on the pod lately, but we'll turn it around eventually. Still excited to be watching football, man. Watching football, good weather. It's just my favorite time of year, brother. It just don't get any better.
It's awesome. You got all the sports going at once right now. It's just a cool feeling right now.
That's right. About to have Pelicans basketball coming up soon.
Freaking right.
I'm looking forward to y'all talking more basketball. I definitely think y'all should do a basketball specific pod, where you just let Clay do his Warriors talk, and then y'all can talk Pelicans and, Grizz or whoever else y'all want to talk,
NBA overall, yeah. I'm ready for it. I love basketball, man. I love it just
It's
as much
gonna
as
be fun. I'm gonna try to watch some basketball. And hey, the Braves are getting started in the playoffs, so got a big series coming up against the Phillies. Chance, Clay, myself, we're all big Braves fans, so we're excited about that, especially with last year's success. Can't wait. It's just a good time, man. Good time.
Great.
It kind of helps you take your mind off those gas prices and the price of milk and energy and all the other crap that's going on in the country.
That's freaking right. That's so right.
Thank God for that. But all right, brother, we'll shut it down here. But we appreciate y'all listening. Be sure to check us out on all your favorite places to listen to podcasts. We're also on Instagram, Facebook. We got a TikTok. We do have a TikTok. Yeah, we do. Okay. We got a TikTok. You can go see Ty Garrett take off his shirt there anytime you want to.
What more
video's up
in the video? That's right.
I know it's everything you need. It's got passion. That's how I feel passionate. I probably felt the same way if I had $1,000 on the line, though. You know,
ain't no doubt. I probably would have done more than just the shirt.
Money. All right, brother. Well,
all right.
We'll wrap this up, man.
Go Tigers.
Who dat?
This ain't how it's supposed to be. It should be just you and me.